The Rams are making some roster moves, and this has huge implications on the season. We're talking about the first wave of roster cuts for the Rams. Some guys that are already gone, some guys that maybe some Rams fans hope to be gone, and the next wave, all on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Hidon. Remember, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, press that subscribe button now, as roughly 65% of you guys are watching the videos, but you're still not pressing the subscribe button. All I'm saying is, if you're already watching, might as well press that subscribe button so you don't miss any daily Rams content here at the Rams Digest. First things first, I want to get into this main story here. We're talking about that first wave of roster cuts. The Rams just officially made that announcement today, Sunday, August 24th. So, of course, not necessarily an exciting time of year, I think. I always talk about, I always preach, I love all the players. I want them all to have roster spots. I mean, this is their careers, right? So it's not fun to hear about players who are getting released and moved on from, especially early in this process, right? So Rams announced the first wave of roster cuts, moving on from 11 players already. The Rams have made their first roster cuts, parting ways with 11 players on Sunday. This comes to us from Cameron DeSilva of the Rams Wire. And so ultimately, again, not really an exciting time, but definitely something to be intrigued by, interested in. Who makes the roster, who doesn't make the roster. And one name already kind of popped off the screen for quite a few fans, as it's a familiar name, we should say. But, initially we kind of expect a lot of these guys to maybe have not made the roster. We have, Castles here. We have Kyren Williams, Dooley. I mean, guys we kind of already expect to be moved on from. One of the biggest names, I think, here, especially in that first grouping, quarterback dresser win, like I talked about in the past. We kind of expected that to be a thing as well. Possibly a guy who's fighting for a practice squad roster spot, more like. But the additional one here, the 11th name, that was actually more of a waived, released from their contract situation rather than just kind of cut from the roster, was Tony Fields, a vested veteran, I think a former Cleveland Brown, if I'm not mistaken. So that definitely an interesting name, I think, that kind of pops off the screen initially. Again, not someone that we've seen a lot in the roster projections, just not really that much space in the roster to have everybody and to keep all the names that are intriguing, especially, veterans like Tony Fields. But ultimately, he's probably the biggest, most recognizable name on this list. Overall, though, the Rams are moving on from some interesting pieces. We'll see how many of these players end up making that final final maybe practice squad roster, right? Ultimately in a couple of days, as the Rams have to kind of make these decisions final. For anyone curious, the NFL roster cut deadline is actually the NFL mandating that all 32 teams must trim their rosters down to 53 players by 1 p.m. Pacific time or 4 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesday, August 26. So they only have a couple of days left to finalize this roster. So you're looking at another wave, possibly Monday, maybe even just a full kind of finalizing that 53-man roster. Why even wait till the last minute? But hey, I'm sure they're going to have a lot of conversations internally about guys they want to keep on the roster. Maybe coaches kind of wanting to fight for their guys in certain position groups and things like that. But ultimately, again, no one really super surprising yet that's been released, but so far, Tony Fields, interesting that's one name that we can recognize. And overall, everyone else kind of, so far at least, going as planned and expected. So let me know any names you guys are still hoping that we can kind of cross your fingers and keep on the roster. Maybe some names you want to move on from. I know a lot of people, especially in the linebacker room, maybe want to move on from one particular name. But overall, let me know how you guys feel about the roster cuts so far down below in the comment section. Moving on from that, Terrence Ferguson, he had his first game like we talked about in the preseason, his NFL debut, if you will, in the preseason, of course. And I know we want to see what he does during the regular season, but hey, he had a nice little play at least or two. Definitely interesting to see him out there. He looked pretty good, and now he's feeling pretty good. Actually, Terrence Ferguson felt great in the Rams preseason debut. So, obviously we want to hear from Terrence Ferguson how he's feeling about it. I think that's definitely one key piece there, the confidence booster. You're talking about a rookie here. You're talking about a player who obviously, there are still humans at the end of the day. I'm sure at some points these players have some kind of nerves, going into their professional careers for the first time, and stepping on the NFL field for the first time can be an intriguing route for many rookies. And so, hey, not every second round pick makes it happen in the NFL, right? So very intriguing to see what happens with Terrence Ferguson, but he does have the talent. We saw him looking pretty good out there. Here is Terrence Ferguson's quote talking about his game and how his debut went. He says, "I felt great out there. Everyone's done a great job of making sure that I'm healthy and where I need to be. It was a good play called up for me. I knew it was my number. I think that's what he was trying to say. His number was being called, and Dresser was going to come to me. So it's a big thing for me to have that first catch, stretch the field a little bit, showcase vertical speed. And that is really, truly what that play kind of did, right? He showed, oh, wow, he's in the slot. He's kind of just going downfield. We kind of knew, it looks like he knew the ball was coming his way, one-on-one coverage, and he's able to make the play, make it happen, showing and showcasing, hey, that could be a thing that happens throughout the regular season with Matthew Stafford throwing him the football as well. So definitely intriguing to see that new kind of toy, I guess you can say, out there for a new offensive weapon for the Rams offense to kind of maneuver around and get those two tight end sets out there and all that good stuff. So that vertical speed, downfield ability, definitely a key piece for the Rams moving forward in this upcoming season. Let me know how you guys are feeling about Terrence Ferguson. Are you really excited to see what he does this year? Are you kind of hoping that Tyler Higbee does his thing? Let me know how you guys feel about all that in the comment section down below. Moving on from that, last but not least, my favorite part of the episode, trivia of the day. I ask a trivia question. You give your trivia guesses down below in the comment section. Whether you're right or whether you're wrong, we'll give you a shout out on the next episode that I'm on here at the Rams Digest. For those who missed last episode's trivia of the day, this was a question we asked everyone. Kind of an easy one, in my opinion. And I think a lot of the responses seemed like it was easy as well. What NFL team was named after a famous poem? I said it yesterday's video. If you know anything about poetry, it's probably a pretty easy one. A lot of you guys seem to know a little bit about poetry for sure, especially when it comes to one of the biggest poems out there. Not to spoil anything. What NFL team was named after a famous poem? Was it A, the Baltimore Ravens, B, Chicago Bears, C, the New England Patriots, or D, the Los Angeles Rams? A few of you guys play along with the trivia of the day. Here are your shout outs here. A special shout out to, as I'm lagging super hardcore, apologize for that. Robert Harris says the NFL team named after the poem was the Ravens. Rams House says Ravens. Juan says, what's up, Josh? Que paso? So stoked for the season. I don't know why I can't talk now. You speak Spanish to me once in the comments. Apparently I can't talk anymore. Appreciate your work for the Ramilia. Appreciate you, Juan, by the way, for your kind words. Always on the trivia, I think it's the Ravens. Edgar Allan Poe, go Rams. Floyd says Ravens. Glider says the Ravens. And Roy Robb says, who is knocking on my chamber door? Tapping. None other than Poe's the Raven. Answer, Baltimore Ravens. Let's go Rams. Appreciate you, Roy Robb, for breaking it down, showing you know a little bit of poetry. Some more comments here. Shout out to Thomas. He says, I'm ready for everyone to be healthy because once that happens, the Rams will be very dangerous. Agree with you there, Thomas. Trivia, Baltimore Ravens. More specific, Edgar Allan Poe, the Raven. I appreciate you for dropping that knowledge, as well as the real J. Will, Edgar Allan Poe, the Raven. Lock it in. And then Mike Romero says the Raven. One last shout out to, I don't know why I couldn't get Paula in the group of everybody on one screenshot. So Paula, you got a special shout out here. Baltimore Ravens. There was her response as well. If any of you are curious, yes, everyone got it 100% correct. So appreciate all of you guys who play along with trivia today. Everyone got it correct. The correct answer was the Baltimore Ravens. Obviously, the Edgar Allan Poe poem. Very, very famous poem. Probably one of the only poems I can probably name off the top of my head. Definitely a fun one, easy kind of layup answer, if you will. But shout out to everyone still who played along with the trivia of the day. Always appreciate you guys playing along and want you guys to have fun with it. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, even when it is easy. I'm hoping that is the case. If you missed this one, you're like, that one was super easy. I want to shout out just like those folks got right now. Well, then go ahead and give me a shout or give us a comment down below with the trivia of the day for today's episode, which is going to be this trivia question here, if I can. All right, here is the trivia of the day for today's episode. Today's episode trivia of the day is, what was the first NFL team to have cheerleaders? What was the first NFL team to have cheerleaders? A few multiple choice options for you all. Was it A, the Dallas Cowboys? Was it B, the Baltimore Colts? Was it C, the Kansas City Chiefs? Or was it D, the Oakland Raiders? What was the first NFL team to have cheerleaders? Was it A, the Dallas Cowboys? B, the Baltimore Colts? C, the Kansas City Chiefs? Or D, the Oakland Raiders? Give your guesses down below in the comment section. Whether you're right or whether you're wrong, we'll give you a shout out on the next episode that I'm on here at the Rams Digest. Other than that, make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you're not subscribed already. That's going to do it for me. I'm your host, Joshua Giron, and I'm out.